light years after that?
Speculation. Gifted insight.
I find her most uncommon, Mr. Spock.
This is how history went after McCoy changed it. Here, in the late 1930s, a growing pacifist movement whose influence delayed the United States entry into the Second World War. While peace negotiations dragged on, Germany had time to complete its heavy water experiments.
Germany. Fascism. Hitler. Won Second World War.
Because all this lets them develop the A-bomb first. There's no mistake, Captain. Let me run it again. Edith Keeler, founder of the peace movement.
She was right. Peace was the way.
She was right, but at the wrong time. With the A-bomb, and with their V-2 rockets to carry them, Germany captured the world.
How?
All this because McCoy came back and somehow kept her from dying in a street accident, as she was meant to. We must stop him, Jim.
No, Dr. McCoy said the same thing.
McCoy! Leonard McCoy?
Yes. He's in a mission.
Stay right here. Spock! Stay right there. What is it, McCoy?
Success of Star Trek at that particular point in American history and in television history was because it had a feel of family to it. We were just coming out of a very, very strict 50s and a very uptight middle-class 1950s. A lot of restrictions, a lot of social mores were being destroyed. We were just coming into the 60s and the 70s where a heightened social consciousness brought about the end of the Vietnam War, brought about getting Nixon out of office with Watergate, kept Johnson from being reelected. It was a period where there was much civil rights movement. Women were beginning to assert themselves. It was a very interesting linchpin point in American history.
It was very interesting. Gene was determined that the astronaut corps of the future would be a tapestry of all humankind, of men and women on an equal basis, going where no man or woman had gone before, based strictly on their ability. A script came to us. It was called Plato's Stepchildren. And it had a wonderful role in it for Uhura, and I thought, oh, great, another good role. And, oh, I get to dress up like Cleopatra. And there's this wonderful scene with the captain, no less. I thought I was scared to death. It would become, to my surprise, the first interracial kiss on television. And when I look back on it now, it seems rather silly, but boy, it was a big deal back then. The network and the studio were absolutely, for a few moments, apoplectic. They were afraid to do it, but it had been written, it had been accepted, and now how are we going to do it? And Gene absolutely refused to have it cut. The reason Gene did this was because he hated the idea of censorship. And no matter where he turned, I wish you could see some of the memos that came across this. I mean, they were hilarious. They were absolutely hysterical.
powerful from NBC and from even Desilu, although not as much as Desilu, but the NBC was calling the shots. And oh my God, they were incredible. And anything that was in the script too, they would attack that. And he wanted to give people his message, and they wouldn't take it. Not the networks, but the people won't. So he decided it. He put some very strange, funny-looking costumes on people, different ears, different colors of things, put them on a different planet. And frankly, he got through things like war, the black and white situation where he painted Frank Gorshin half black and half white, and somebody else half white and half black, and made themselves a little war over it, and NBC never caught it.
I can assure you, Commissioner, that our minds will not be twisted, not by Lokai, nor by you.
It is obvious to the most simple-minded that Lokai is of an inferior breed.
The obvious visual evidence, Commissioner, is that he is of the same breed as yourself.
Are you blind, Commander Spock? Oh, look at me. Look at me.
You're black on one side, white on the other.
I am black on the right side.
I fail to see the significant difference.
Lokai is white on the right side. All of his people are white on the right side.
So basically, I think this is what spurred him on even more, is this kind of feeling that he was able to talk about things no one else was able to talk about. They would get censored out of newspapers, they would get censored. Even newspapers are censored to a certain degree. You can only talk about so much. In those days, at least, I think today we're a little bit better off.
And so this enterprise hangs in the Smithsonian as a symbol of a showbiz phenomenon that touched American culture in a very unique way. It affected people's lives in a very minor way, or it changed a life and sent it in another direction. And the story that I can tell you about that was one that moved me for years. I got chills thinking about it. I was called for, somebody sent a limo to take me someplace. The limo driver ushered me into the door, through the door, into the back of the limo. And I got in, and he got into his side, and he drove 20 yards away from my house. Stopped there, parked. Engine running, ignition's on. He says, I've been waiting to talk to you. Oh, my gosh. I'm trained to kill. Get out. He said, I was captured in Vietnam. And the worst things you've seen in Apocalypse Now comes nowhere near me. With me and the rest of the men who captured, put in these cages, put into water, toward their necks, held in small cages that we couldn't stand up, couldn't sleep, couldn't throw on. We kept ourselves sane by playing what we called the Star Trek game. And I turned from flight to interest. I said, what was that? And he said, we all loved Star Trek so much that we all knew the dialogue from the episodes. And one day, I would be Captain Kirk and play the Kirk role in Amok Time, or Troubles with Tribbles, or he named an episode of things that I had long since forgotten. Or the next day I was Mr. Spock, or Dr. McCoy, or Scotty, or I was... And so we kept ourselves safe. And I am out of that prison and free and able to function because of Star Trek. And we were both crying at that.
As we all know, who are interested in the show, Star Trek didn't become wildly popular and widely popular until some years after it had been canceled. The reason why our original audience was so rapid about the show, I think, are the same reasons that other people and succeeding generations have become involved. Star Trek really is not action-adventure, as the network originally characterized it in its advertisements. Star Trek really was and is a morality play. Star Trek is about all of the human aspirations that we lay claim to. Star Trek is about how to live an ethical existence. Star Trek is about the Ten Commandments. It's about how to live a moral life, how to deal with others who are different from you, how to treat them, how to be aware that their desires, their hopes, and their fears are just like yours. They may look different, but they're the same as us. I'd like to say something about Gene Roddenberry and the conversation that he has had with me a number of times. And we're talking about what the show is about. The show says to people that there will be no Armageddon.
There is a tomorrow. It's not all going to be over with a big flash and a bomb. That the human race is improving. That we have things to be proud of as humans. No, astronauts, ancient astronauts did not build the pyramids. Human beings built them because they're clever and they work hard. And Star Trek is about those things.
Gene Roddenberry took more than just TV viewers where no man has gone before. He took television itself, and thanks to his creative genius, the journey continues.